Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Revolution Cup Series presented by Anarchy. This is race number 2 in round number 2 of the Revolution Cup playoffs. Cone swept the stages and dominated at Watkins Glen to get his second win of the playoffs and his third in the last 5. The hottest driver in the series right now. He's so hot right now. He leads the points by 15 and he sits on pole for tonight's race at Martinsville. Cone, who's been probably our short track ringer so far this season, with a win at Dover to start the playoffs. He also, earlier this season, when we were at Bristol, won 2 of the stages, but Ovo took the win there. As we are going to drop the green flag, Cone's going to lead on the inside. Tight 2x2 all the way back. Nobody clear yet. Shifter pushing Cone right behind on the bottom. LRS on the top, trying to make it stick and stay with him. Cone immediately 1 lap into this race, building that gap. Shifter coming in second, getting by LRS there. He's going to also start to create a gap and close in on Cone a little bit. You see a battle here with LRS and Ovo on the inside. He's going to get clear and take over third position. LRS falling back early. Not what he wants to see, as he is near the cut line coming into this race. LRS sits only 3 points above Meso at the cut line. And Heathen, looking to try and move on, sits 8 points below Meso. Guys getting loose. And 0-1. Not on the wall. Okay, we are okay. Thought we might have had a car on the wall there. That is the 48 of HD. Spins around on the inside there. HD, who is HD or Morton, has not been here with us for a little while now. He has had some time off. You know, busy schedules. It happens to the best of us. But he is back tonight. He's trying to just shake the rust off. As Cone and Shifter now have a sizable gap in the lead, coming off of turn 2 here is Ovo LRS. Ovo getting a little loose coming out of turn 2 there. Has to swerve down to the bottom to keep the car under control. You see the top 6 starting to break away a little bit. Cone leading the way, Shifter second. Ovo third, LRS fourth, Trash Can fifth, Harvick sixth. Hearing a bit of struggle coming from a couple of the drivers as they're all using this first stage to just try and get the cars under control. This is a very tricky short track. Everybody wants to get that bottom line. Everybody wants to stick to that bottom, because the outside line it's a tough one. It's very difficult to try and pass the outside as Cone up into the wall. Off of turn 2, he's going to give up the lead to Shifter. Unlucky for Cone. Got a little loose coming out of turn 2 there. Shifter right there to pounce on it, though. As you see that time, Cone exiting turn 2 a little further down the track, and he wasn't exiting up high near the wall. You see him do the same thing on the outside of turn 4, and Shifter around in the front. Everybody keeps going. He then around. Thank goodness he was ghosted as the leaders go by. I believe there's contact between him and the 12 of Drake. Eden's going to drop a lap down after that incident. You see the 48 just in front of the leaders. Battle starting to heat up a bit back here for third. It's LRS trying to close in on the back bumper of Ovo. He is all over that back bumper there in the 43. Harvick and Trash Can sitting 5th and 6th, keeping their distance. And oh, a bit of a push going into turn 3 by LRS, shoving Ovo up the track. Can he get clear down the straightaway? The drag race is on going into turn 1. LRS has the inside. A bit of retaliation by Ovo sends LRS up the track. And LRS coming back down, clipping the front of Harvick. Leaves the outside open for Trash Can, and Trash Can's going to try and make it 3 wide going into turns 3 and 4. Come out of 4, LRS way on the inside. Trash Can on the high side taking over 4th. LRS drops back to 6th. What a crazy couple of laps there. Shifter still has the lead over Cone as they've gotten around the 48 of HD. Lap car just getting out of their way, not trying to cause any issues for the leaders as Cone's going to take a peek to the outside. Doesn't work. Kind of drove that car a little too hard going into turn number 1 there. And we go into turns 3 and 4. Shifter kind of taking a deep line into the turns 1 and 3. Goes high. I see him still trying this higher line, kind of like a second lane there on in the turns. Cone still getting a little loose out of turns 2 and 4. Still hasn't gotten that car under control. That's gonna create a bit of a gap here for Shifter. Heathen has spun around again. Heathen, who is sitting right below the cut line, is struggling to just keep this car on track as you see Drake now being chased down by the leaders. A couple of these drivers struggling tonight. Martinsville's always a very difficult track to navigate, and with the pressure on tonight, with playoff implications looming, Shifter trying to clinch his spot into the round of 8. Cone, winning at the Glen last week, clinched his spot into the next round, as he too will be looking to just pile on the playoff points like he did in the first round. Set himself up beautifully for the future as we see Drake just get out of the way. Doesn't want to cause any issues for the leaders. Shifter and Cone easily get by them. Big battle here. This battle has been raging on for a third for a while now. All of these cars, you can just throw them all down, throw them all under a blanket. Ovo, Trash Can, Harvick, LRS, Malukas, as Malukas takes over 6th from LRS as he's finally caught back up with that group. Heathen coming out of the pits. Everybody in a line, single file orderly here. I think right now everybody's just trying to survive at this point. A lot of beating and banging going on. But everybody's just trying to survive to the end of this stage. Heathen with the fresher tires here. So he went down in the pit road, I believe he took 4 new tires and fixed some repairs. He's on the back bumper of LRS. Harvick, meanwhile, trying to defend from Malukas, who has charged his way back up into this group after falling behind a little bit. See Harvick drive it deep into turn 1 there. I think that was the pressure of Malukas getting to him a little bit in the 77. Oh, LRS getting a little loose off of turn 4 there. Although still leading the line here for third as they are all bumper to bumper right behind each other. Harvick looking like he's going to give Trash Can a little push. Ovo getting loose off of turn 4. Trash Can's going to get a run on the inside. He's going to go down and deep. Can Trash Can make the pass? Is he clear? He looks like he is. Trash Can is going to take over third position. Ovo fourth. Not for long as here comes Harvick on the inside. He's going to look to try and take third. They are side by side out of 4. Harvick has the favored inside line though. Trash Can looking to make it stick. Ovo kind of shoves Harvick up. Has to make it. Oh, and a big wreck! The 40th around in front of the group. All of those drivers involved. Trash Can, Ovo, LRS, Harvick, Malukas, Heathen involved there. HD in the 48 just got around in front of them. A tough break, got loose out of turn 4. Or I believe turn 2, I'm sorry. Got loose out of turn 2, hit the wall, and just was parked in front of that whole pack. That brings out the first caution of this race. Here we are, we're going to get set to restart here. Shifter's going to be our leader at the restart here on the inside line. Cone on the outside. Malukas jumps up to third after the pit stops. Meso up to 5th in the 15. Everybody trying to get some positioning here, getting their feet underneath them. The 15 of Meso underneath of Lucas there, Nixium in the 77. He's got the favorite inside line. Drives it a little deep in there. Shoves the 77 up. We see the 43 getting shoved up again. He's into the wall, tapping it out of turn 2. Cone's still getting loose a little bit, tapping that outside wall and coming out of turns 2 and 4. We've seen that a lot from him tonight. Everybody now in line. Let's take an overhead look at this 18 car as he's going to try and battle and keep going. And on the bumper of the number 5 there. He's right there. Cone has done a great job of driving this car in deep. And oh, Shifter gets caught on the inside. Loses all momentum. Cone takes the lead. Harvick into second. Shifter drops back to third. Meso now on the inside of Shifter to try and take third from him. Malukas is on the outside. Shifter's able to keep third, though. Top 5 kind of getting a little bit of a gap from 6th, 7th, and 8th. You see that small pack there of Ovo, Trash Can. So I see an LRS is back there with them. Cone retakes the lead, though, with Harvick right on his bumper. Harvick, you can see Harvick's running a lower line coming out of turns 2 and 4. He's trying to just get his nose there as, oh, Harvick goes wide a little bit coming out of 4. Opens the door for Shifter to get the inside. Shifter bumps the 4 up the track a little bit. Door to door. Harvick bounces off the wall, a little bit of contact with the 5, but they stay straight and we keep going. You can see Cone, those tires right up to the curb. And Ovo into the wall there. See a couple cars wrecked. Caution is out. I'm Not entirely sure what happened there. We saw the 55 and the 43 kind of come together. I wasn't sure if that was a bit of lag or what. So Ovo got a bit loose coming out of turn 2 there. Bounced off the wall and hit the inside wall. He spun. And then I think trying to avoid Ovo in the 31, the 55, and the 43 also got involved. The 16 gets the wave around after this caution. And the 77 of Malukas, who started all the way in the back tonight, towards the back end of the field, is going to lead us to this restart with the 4 of Harvick on the outside. Lucas is going to easily take the lead here. Oh, a bit of beating and bang behind them. Car into the grass. Meso hits the wall coming out of 4. Bit of a love tap with the wall. It's going to allow Shifter to comfortably get into 4th. Cone battling the inside of Harvick there. He's on his quarter panel. He's going to be able to get the inside. Dives down. Sends it deep. Harvick goes up and wide. It's going to allow Cone to get up into 2nd place now. Again, sending it deep. A little bit of a bump from the 4. Harvick fan not happy about that door-to-door couple laps earlier. The 18's going to look on the inside of 77 now. Malukas holding the high line. Cone's not clear, and now he is. Malukas still trying to hold that high line. That's all he can really do right now, as he's sinking. He is falling back. The 4's around him. Now comes the 5 of Shifter. Shifter gets around the 77. He's up to 3rd. Ovo 5th. LRS 6th. Meso 7th. Trash Can 8th. Cone once again starting to drive away from the rest of the field. Something we've seen all too much this season. And Heathen has wrecked again on the front stretch. He retired the car early last week at the Glen. I wonder if we're going to be seeing the same thing again this week. Everybody now kind of spaced out a little bit. Cone is really starting to drive away here. Cone with a comfortable lead here. I mean, the 4 is nowhere in sight. Shifter loses the control of the car out of 4. He's fallen all the way back. Shifter, who was running up in 3rd last we checked with him, coming out of turn 4, got loose, hit the wall. Not a good break for the 5 there, not what you wanted to see. I believe Shifter is now currently sitting 9th. The other good thing though for Shifter to think about is he's sitting comfortably in points right now. Currently 26 points. So we have another caution out right now. As I'm seeing from another angle, Heathen gets loose coming out of turn 4, hits the wall on the inside, and Harvick runs into the back of Heathen along the inside wall. Cone, you see the lead that he had built up. And he's just been running away with this. It doesn't matter where Cone is restarted. He could restart in the front. He could restart in the middle. He's going to get himself back up front. He wants to try and get as many points as possible going into this next round. As we see after pit stops, he has dropped back a little bit. As Meso in the 15 is going to lead us to green. And look at that, Cone immediately on the back bumper of Ovo, shoving him into turn 1. And wrecked Meso in the 15, the 12 of Drake. And the caution is out yet again. That was not a good restart. Very ugly. Cone getting into the back of the 31 of Ovo right off the restart. And the shoving accordion effect occurred. Cone going in the back of 30 of Ovo. Sent Ovo into the back of Meso, who was on the bottom as the leader. And got sent into the inside wall in between turn 1 and 2. Caused a pile up behind him. You saw the 12 up into the outside wall in turn 2. Caution was thrown. He then also involved in the back there. He got into the 12 a little bit. Minimal damage though. So Heathen is okay. He's still in the back. 3 laps down. Only lapped car at this point. But Shifter is going to lead us to green this time around. Cone on the outside. Ovo slides down into the inside. HD battling up in third, trying to keep Cone corralled behind him. Ovo looking inside. He's not going to be able to get it. Shifter is going to win stage 1 at Martinsville. Big points coming from the 5 car, who is trying to establish himself with a decent amount of points going into the next round. He's sitting comfortable. We all know that. We know he's sitting comfortable in round 2, but going into the round of 8, he wants to try and gain as many points as possible. Alright, so here we go. To start stage 2, we are going to crank it up for you guys. I'm going to get these points set up for you. And meanwhile, the 4 of Harvick is going to take the green flag as Cone's going to battle him on the outside. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Cone still leads this race, a sizable lead as Ovo's taken over second place with Shifter sitting in third. Malukas and Harvick battling back there for fourth. Here are your current playoff standings after stage number 1. Cone extending his lead oh so slightly as Shifter gains ground on Harvick, SP, and Ovo. The only change in the top 10 as Ovo overtakes SP, gaining as his second place finish in stage number 1. Really helped him out there. Shifter's plus 10 though, the stage win plus the playoff point. It's exactly what he wanted to do going into this race. You see also the gap between Meso and Heathen grows also slightly at the cutoff line. Meso gaining 1 point from that stage. Malukas gains on Heathen though, cutting that difference in half. See Shifter all over the back of Ovo here as Cone is once again driven up to a sizable lead. He even has to park on the front stretch. He might be having to take care of some issues. But Shifter battling the 31 here. As Shifter's going to take a chance on the inside there. Bumps Ovo coming out of 2. Ovo now on the high side. Not what he wants. Still bumping a bit. Shifter's going to clear Ovo and take over second place. Meanwhile, that was happening. The 4 of Harvick has closed the gap and has made this a 3-horse race here for second place. Malukas 5th, Trashcan 6th. Both sitting back. We see Cone running away there. And I believe the caution is out. It is out. See Trashcan lagging behind a little bit. Might have been incident involving him. Not entirely sure what happened there. We didn't have a good angle on that. Oh. Here we go. Time for another restart in this race. Cone on the inside. Shifter on the outside. We have seen this before. And LRS going to the outside, trying to wall ride a little bit, I think. A little distracted there. But Cone is going to keep the lead and get himself clear of Shifter. Cone trying to run away again. Trying to build up that gap like he has done so many times tonight. Shifter just waiting for that opportunity to present itself, as it has tonight a couple times. Shifter having some issues getting loose out of the turns, hasn't been able to get on the gas as well as he wants. And just like that, Shifter looking to the outside. Not sure what's going on with the 16 there. As we see the 4 here get to the inside of Shifter, looking to take over that 3rd place. This is exactly what Cone wants to see in his mirror. Everybody battling behind him. Ovo under pressure. That is exactly what Cone wants. Meanwhile, Cone running some great clean laps. Everybody's filed single file. It's all going to be a matter of who decides to send it when. Ovo doing a fantastic job keeping the gap close to Cone. And the caution is out again. The yellow flag is the one flag that I think Cone does not want to see right now. He's been able to drive away and create such an incredible gap every time he's been up front, but negated so many times by this caution. As Cone is going to take us to the green at this restart. He's going to drive it in deep. It's going to open up the door for Ovo on the inside, coming out of 2. Cone into the wall, bumps Ovo. He's still into the wall. It's going to kill his momentum. He's going to drop back a couple positions. The 4 drives it deep into turn 3, bumps Cone. They're still bumping down the front straightaway. Ovo takes over the lead. Shifter 2nd. Cone fighting on the outside for 3rd to try and keep up there. Taps the wall again, coming out of 2. It's going to give Harvick 3rd position. So we're going to see Ovo and Shifter creating a little bit of a gap here. As the 4 was battling the 18, Ovo and Shifter were able to drive away a little bit. Meanwhile, the 4 is being bombarded by both Malukas and Cone. And Ovo gets into the wall a little bit. Shifter's going to be able to try and get to the inside. He's not going to be able to. Ovo's able to close the door going into turn 1. Shifter's still on the back bumper, though. You can see the way Shifter's running a little bit on the inside of Ovo. He's not running directly behind him. He runs a little bit inside, keeping that nose off of the back of the 31. Just waiting, just peeking. Try and find an opening where he can dive down to Ovo's inside and battle for that lead. As the 4 has started to catch back up to the front 2. A little bit of a gap to Cone in 4th. Both the 4 and the 18 have started to leave the 77 in the dust as Shifter finally gets that opening that he's been looking for on the inside. Takes over the lead. Ovo's going to take an opportunity here in 3 and 4 to try and regain the lead. Shifter into the wall. Ovo takes the lead. Harvick into 2. Harvick on the inside now trying to take over the lead from Ovo. Harvick gets a great run out of 4. Ovo doesn't. Shifter now to the inside of Ovo. Takes over 2nd. Ovo drops from 1st to 3rd in 1 lap. And now he's got to deal with Shifter on the inside. And Shifter's going to be able to get by the 31. Not yet, but he should after this turn. Ovo has done a great job of keeping this car grippy on the high side. It's now Malukas and Trashcan have both caught up to the 31 and 18. Gonna take a look at our leaders up here. The 4 of Mac Jones fan, also known as Harvick. No, not Kevin Harvick, but he's known as Harvick. We see that yellow M&M's car creeping up to the number 5. Shifter just kind of trying to sit comfortably in second right now, not looking to drive it deep. I think he's waiting for the 4 to make a mistake or something, which we've seen a lot from tonight. Nobody has driven a perfect race. Everybody's been making mistakes. Nobody's been able to stick it as well as they want to. A lot of drivers getting loose out of the turns. A lot of wall scraping. But we see Shifter all over the back bumper of that 4 car. And just like that, there is an M&M's car right in Shifter's mirror. Cone has caught back up to the leaders and is going to be looking to contend for this lead again. Harvick, who sits currently second in the point standings, looking to try and find a way to gain any ground point-wise on the 18. Harvick, who sits second in the point standings, Shifter, who sits third, and Cone, who is our points leader right now, are our front runners. 16 has retired the cars we see in pit lane there. Shifter looks like he's going to try and make a move. Goes a little low, tries to get some clean air. Isn't able to gain any ground on the 4, though. 4 looks like it gets a little loose coming out of turn number 4. He's able to keep the lead. Shifter drives it deep in there. Oh, I don't want to join. There he goes. Shifter on the outside of Harvick clips the wall. Harvick on the inside, still able to keep the lead. And Cone has dropped back into the field a little bit here. Not entirely sure what happened to them. Heard a little bit from the driver radio that he spun. I think he got on the inside a little bit there. Hello, INF. How are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Enjoying myself to a degree.
At least you're enjoying yourself at some level.
Trying to broadcast these races is always fun. At least we got a broadcast this week, so I can't really complain that much. No server issues this time.
That's good.
Knock on wood.
Lap 118 out of 250, so a little under halfway.
Yeah, I don't even have a lap count, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, wasn't that fun?
Yeah. My driver who I was relying on that ended up retiring the car and having some issues to take care of, so we're just here for fun.
We're just here to watch stuff go down.
Yep. We'll know the end of the stage when everybody all of a sudden slows down and stops racing.
We'll know then. Or when the aggression starts to turn up, then
yeah, or then all of a sudden when we get 3 cautions and we haven't even completed a lap, that's about when we'll know it's getting close.
Yeah, I think some point then we'll figure it out.
Harvick still your leader as him and Shifter have broken away from the rest of the field.
Is that the 48 I see running in third?
I'm not sure if he's in third or if he's a lap down. He has been a lap down a bit before as the 5 gets loose there. Shifter loose off of turn 4. Had to fight to keep the car off the walls and drops back off of the bumper of Harvick.
And assuming on the long runs here with these next-gen cars, the longer these runs go, these cars already loose as is. And at Martinsville, you're on the gas like so early that the car just wants to spin out under traction off of the corners. So obviously Shifter having to deal with, or seems to be dealing with a car that does not want to cooperate with him.
That seems to be the running theme tonight. Cone, who has dominated most of this race, finished third in stage 1 after an issue, after multiple issues getting loose out of the turns. We've seen it throughout everybody on the field as we see the leaders coming up to another lap car here, the 12 of Drake.
Drake gonna let him go there. Always very respectful. Drake is.
We love Drake. We stand Drake.
We stand Drake. Going for a trucking Xfinity title this season. So that's kind of. I mean, this is new territories for Drake. He's never exactly been in title conversations, but he's picked up his stride in the lower divisions. Oh, the 48 is pinned up in the wall. Or was, excuse me. He just got lapped by Harvick there.
Yeah, I think the 48 hasn't raced the past couple weeks. Just trying to shake the rust off, get the tires back on the asphalt, put some laps down, get back into the groove of things. But Harvick and the 4 just comfortably away. Nobody within, earshot of this car.
Well, it was at this very track just a couple seasons and a series ago that Harvick made his debut in a Cup Series and seemed to picking up right where he left off. And I think that's the end of the stage, essentially. So they are all very slow.
I believe it is. And our stage winner is Harvick. I should say that in a more enthusiastic. Our stage winner is Harvick. There we go. That's better. There's no favoritism up in this booth. Unless it's Drake.
Well, that would be favoritism.
We are totally unbiased up here. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Hashtag Go48. Or I don't. Who else? Go12. Boom. Go43. Go everyone. I like everyone here.
Okay, so what happened to the biased?
Well, I could be biased. It's just I have a bias towards everyone. It's a neutral bias.
I don't know if that's actually a thing, but we'll go with it. We'll run with it.
We'll pretend it is.
As Harvick's going to take the green as the leader into stage 3. He's going to have to battle Shifter on the outside, though, as he's still not able to clear Shifter. Shifter doing a great job keeping up close and on that quarter panel of the 4, not letting him drive away from him on the inside. Trash Can and Malukas, though, doing a great job sticking with all of them.
And Trashkin has done an excellent job, especially the last few weeks, and especially coming off of what happened last week at Watkins Glen. He's going to be hungry to try and get back into victory lane get into victory lane for the first time this season.
So we haven't really spoke about Watkins Glen other than Cone's domination there, but for those of you who don't know, we didn't have a stream last week we didn't have a broadcast due to networking server issues, because, hey, we love this game. This game always works flawlessly. But, an incident occurred very late in that race involving the 42 and the 43, which caused a late race caution. Trash Can, who was in a position to win at the Glen last week, ended up being passed by Cone, and Cone ended up winning that race due to this late race caution. And that is why you do not see the 42 in the field tonight, as some details behind the scenes and some penalties had been given out. So not sure how much we can speak on, but we'll leave that there, as Trash Can is very, very hungry to make up some ground that he feels that he missed out on from last week.
And Trash Can, you know, it's kind of weird for him because, like, he's such a good short track racer and great road course racer, right, where you need to be able to use the brake pedal, not be afraid to go deep into corners and be able to shift. But he's only had, I believe, one career win to his name. That was a long time ago. Unfortunately, he's just been very unlucky in the past and just has not been able to find victory lane. And right now, it's probably one of his best chances to do so at a short track nonetheless here, but he's going to have to get past two very fast cars in Harvick and Shifter.
If you just give me 2 minutes, I'm going to update these playoff standings for everybody. Alright, the floor is yours while I take care of this.
So what's the deal with the airplane food? I'm joking. Oh, 55 into the wall. 77 of Malukas is going to get a great run out of turn 2. They'll be side by side in 3 and 4. Lucas gets that job done. A little bit of damage potentially to that right side of the 55, as Malukas, who is, I believe, currently below the cut line, as well, Diggies is working on that currently, sees that this is a big day for him. He needs to try and get these points as much as he can so that he can elevate himself going into the cutoff race, which I believe is at Kansas next week. Oh, and we have battle for the lead. The 5 and the 4 going side by side into 3. Shifter sends it deeper into the corner, covers off the crossover, gets the job done. New leader, the 5er Super Shifter.
Yes, we are at Kansas next week for the cutoff race.
Thank you. Still no Satil for the race lead. Checking elsewhere. Ovo and Hunter and Meso are all back here, and they've kind of split up into 3 separate packs. You got the leading duo. Oh, Harvick really loose off turn 2. Never mind. Guess they're split up. I think the 43 also got really loose off the corner because he's dropped off a bit from the 4th place driver of Trash Can. Cone going to take advantage of his shortcomings down the inside. Use them up the track just a little bit. Oh, also getting loose. All these drivers fighting really loose race cars, and I think we just caught another glimpse of it. 48 almost into the inside wall, but previously mentioned Cone not quite able to get by LRS yet. These guys have been battling for a little bit right now. Cone, he said if he's been dominating this race, at least earlier on, he's just struggled to get by these cars, and especially this 43 of LRS. Looks like Malukas is starting to close in on that top 3, breaking away from the 55 Trash Can. I would have really expected to see Meso running up a little better than he is currently.
He has.
He's a really good.
He has run up front a little bit, a bit. He actually led a restart, but then there was an incident. He got shoved from the back and was spun out. So
Oh, fun.
He has run up front, but his luck up front has not been there.
Story of Mason's life has not been lucky leading up at the front.
Here is our updated playoff standings for everybody at home. Cone still pulling away. Well, I should say that, actually. Harvick gaining some ground on him, actually. It just doesn't look that way because Cone is the first driver to eclipse over 100 points in this round. He's now sitting at 3,103 points. Harvick, though, sitting, I believe, 15, if my math is correct, 15 points back from him, which is exactly how much he was sitting back to begin this race. So no ground has been made, and no ground has been expanded upon between those two drivers. Meanwhile, Shifter, who finished second that stage to Harvick, sits only 3 points back of Harvick, as Shifter currently leads this race. Won stage 1, second stage 2, and is pulling away in this final stage. No changes throughout the positioning in the standings, though, but Trash Can has caught up to SP. SP not racing, so he's going to fall in these standings throughout the night and possibly next week. Meanwhile, we see...
and we have a caution out.
Oh, that's always wonderful.
Sorry to cut you off there. Continue.
No, you're fine. The cutoff line does grow, though, as Meso gains some more stage points. Heathen retiring the car is not going to gain anything tonight. He's not going to be in a good position going into next week because Malukas has also gained on Heathen. Malukas gaining 13 stage points so far tonight. Came in to this race with 3,009 points, and now in the final stage only sits 10 back of Heathen and is 22 points off the cutoff line. Originally sat 31 points off the cutoff line. Sure.
Oh my goodness, getting very tight at the cut line. And I will say the cause of that crash, I do believe, was Cone and Hunter. I think they were both around on the back stretch. And well, I will say one thing that is not helping the case of Malukas, who's below that cut line currently running, is the fact of the field size playing to a disadvantage. Because Heathen is now out, everyone in that, including his playoff rivals, are guaranteed stage points. So this is going to be very tough for Malukas, especially now, to try and gain points. And going into Kansas, where ultimately I believe it's going to be one spot up, or that left to be eliminated,
yes,
is going to be a tough ask for that 77 team. They're going to have to look to potentially win it in the Midwest.
Well, if he can get a great finish tonight and Meso has some issues, he's really going to be able to catch up to that cut line. Running fourth currently, but LRS behind him also just above that cut line, only 5 points up on Meso. LRS sitting 7th in the standings right now. But we're gonna want to look for that 77 car as he takes over third place from Trash Can. He's going to probably be one of the more aggressive cars we see later in this race, trying to get as many points as he can. See ya.
I think you could see that a little bit there. Give him a little tail whack there, and obviously probably not his intent.
Ooh, 3 wide, squeezing down the front
the wall.
straightaway. Trash Can now getting sent up wide, losing positions. Trash Can just sinking in this field now.
It all started when he hit the outside wall and got passed by Malukas, and tapped the wall again, and then, well, just keeps finding his way into the outside wall, whether he wants to or not. And I'll tell you what, this 18 is being really aggressive right now. He's got that left side almost in the grass over the curb, trying to get these moves done. So keep an eye out for that candy card there.
Yeah, that spin he had earlier in the race that sent him towards the back. Originally, I think he just kind of thought, all right, I'm going to deal with it, finish out the stage, and work on gaining those places back in the final stage, and that's what he's at now. He's pedal to the metal. He is foot through the floor, trying to be as aggressive as he can to regain that ground that he lost. I mean, there were points in this race that he was at least 5-6 seconds ahead. He had a massive gap in front of him, but the cautions have just plagued his race today. Ooh, trash can getting a little loose off of turn 4.
He didn't want the inside wall to feel left out. Wanted to give that a little tap too.
I'll be honest, that inside wall is... I don't think it's been left out very much this race.
At least from... I don't know. He's been tapping that outside wall a fair bit this run. And so just thought it'd be best maybe turn his luck around if he hits the inside one. Maybe that'll reverse his luck. Or reverse his bad luck, shall we say.
As Ovo tapping the 18 coming out of turn 2. He's going to have Cone drive it deep into turns 3 and 4. And and the Cone gets into the wall coming out of 4. The aggressive moves not paying off for the 18. It's going to allow Meso to move up and challenge Ovo for the next position.
Yeah, and what you're seeing right here is a battle of just 3 very aggressive drivers. Obviously, the 18 and 31, they have long-standing history. These two have raced each other for a long time, and they have raced each other very aggressively throughout that time. So they're no strangers to one another, and especially in a situation like this, we're in the playoffs time. Tensions are high already at Martinsville, so they're going to be seeing, or whenever their paths cross, you're going to be seeing a bunch of aggressive stuff as Cone sets his sights on Meso.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of surprising. I mean, Cone already has a very comfortable situation going into the next round. He's already clinched his spot. He's got 3,103 points, and we're not even through the second race. So, I mean, but he is as aggressive as can be, battling 2 guys who Ovo sits 5th in the standings, and Meso currently sits on the cut line, barely making it in right now.
Oh.
And that's not what we want to see, the 48 around again.
You see, Mason's not taking this lying down. He's trying to fight back as best as he can, but ultimately that 18 is just so good off the corners. He's able to launch that car, get right back into place, and just get going again. Now he's going to try and close in on the 4th place car, LRS.
See Shifter in the lead over Harvick, Malukas 3rd, LRS 4th, Cone 5th. As the 4 taps the wall coming out of turn number 4. Very quiet up at the front right now, as it has kind of been the tendencies tonight. Trash can gets around Ovo. He's now going to be looking to try and catch back up to the 15. Meso's still hanging around with...
Oh! The 5's... What is the 5 doing? I think he just hit the outside wall. He's really slow on the track.
He stopped at the entrance to pit road.
I don't know what happened. He hit the outside wall and then went to the bottom of the track and just lost... Looks like he just lost all power in that car.
The race leader...
He's going to go a lap down here.
It looks like he's got it. Oh. Having some issues with the wheel in the car. That is not what you want to hear whatsoever. Shifter coming over the radio saying his wheel had issues and disconnected.
Oh my goodness.
Very tough break to a driver who was having such a phenomenal race. Such tough luck as the 4 is going to inherit the lead. Inherit a hefty lead that is As we see Lucas coming out of turn 4 as Harvick's already about halfway down the straightaway.
Now, I wouldn't say that this is like he's out of it now, because the way we've seen cautions tonight, and I think he's only one lap down. He has the pace to where, oh, and speaking of which, Cohen's around to the backstretch, and the 55 is also in the outside wall. I was going to say that could be the caution that he needs if it comes out.
Seeing cars having issues now. 48's getting put up towards the wall. We're hearing no caution. Everybody's still going.
And that 18 is destroyed. A bunch of damage on that car.
I mean, you can argue and say that the two best cars tonight were the 5 and the 18, and they currently are having the most amount of problems. I mean, Cone right now just has the safety, the cushion of that win that he's already clinched. He doesn't have to worry about it, but very frustrating night for that M&M's car.
Absolutely. And this now provolts the 77 into a much-needed second place right now, which, I mean, the one downside to that is his rivals 43 and the 15 are also gaining positions because of this. But if it gets him closer to the leader, that being the 4, I think it's ultimately going to be chalked up as a win. And right now, it's not losing nor gaining on that 4. Could potentially see him catch him in the coming laps.
You know, it's funny. We were looking at this 77 car only a couple laps ago, saying that we're going to want to circle him and look at him to be one of the more aggressive drivers later on in this race. And he's gotten up into second place without even having to really lift a finger. I mean, he's just raced his own race, and the positions have just been handed to him.
And he's going to be liking what he's seeing up here, because up in front of the leaders, lap cars of Cone and Drake. Drake probably going to get out of the way here now, or no. Going to be pulling to the middle of the track, making it a little more difficult for that 4 machine. Not allowing him to get to that proper line. It's going to allow for that 77 to gain a bunch of time through the corner.
I think part of that was Harvick just trying to be aggressive to get around the lap car. He didn't want to be stuck behind that number 12. He just wanted to get around him. And I think it caused some confusion. Drake trying to get out of the way ended up still blocking that 4 car.
We're going to see what happens with this 18, as he's probably going to be a little less reluctant to give up that lapped car status or give up that precious lap. He feels as though one caution and he can be set back up with another shot at gaining positions again.
We see further on,
fixing that damage.
See further on behind, Drake getting out of the way of the 77 and the 43. The 48, I believe, has retired the car as well. A lot of issues.
And the 18, oh, 18 in the wall.
Loose off of turn 4.
No, Cone.
He wants to stay there. Kind of interested to see what happens here. Yep. Cone diving in the inside. Oh, contact made in turns 3 and 4. Harvick is not going to be happy about that. They have been battling a lot of M&M pain on that Mobil 1 car and the other one, and vice versa. Meanwhile, you know who's loving this? The 77. Malukas has caught back up to these drivers. Closed the gap significantly.
Now the 4, it's even going to affect the 4 even after passing that 18, especially right there, because he has to be concerned about what that 18 is going to do, and if he's going to maybe make a little risky move.
Oh, the 18 goes low into towards the wall. Lets 77 through. That's the second time we've seen the lap cars cause the 4 trouble, but leave the 77 free. That's what happens when you get some good relationships between drivers. I mean,
Man.
different
I mean,
differences. We've seen the 4 and the 18 bump and beat all race, but Cone hasn't had any issues with Malukas. So why would he have any? Why would he be reluctant to let him by? As we see the 31 of Ovo diving into pit road.
gotta be an interesting strategy called there, and potentially maybe some damage, or maybe their fuel's running
I
tight.
believe we might be seeing
But
some green
regardless,
flag stops here.
and on the subject of that, I mean, this has been a long season so far. A lot of opportunities to make friends or make enemies, and I mean, these guys have known each other for a long time. They know how each other races, and I'd say that for it's been a lot more enemies than friends. So, I mean, wouldn't be surprised, or I'm not surprised to see how some people or some drivers willing to race him.
The
That
77.
77.
Incredible job
Yeah,
closing up
I
that
mean,
gap.
might have a little more help. 31. Well, I guess not. 31 out of pit road, just up ahead. But
30.
although on the fresher tires,
Ovo should be able to pull away from them with no issue.
exactly.
The only
See
positive
here.
that the 4 has in this situation is the 77 is going to be really burning those tires trying to catch up to him. So if Harvick's able to keep his car just steady and calm, he might be able to pull out another lap or two longer of a run than the 77 when it comes to the tires.
One thing I am a little surprised is how the 43, he's engaged in a little bit of a battle with the 18 right now on track, but he is currently the third place car, and I'm a little surprised that he has not been able to make up as much ground as these other drivers. And in fact, he's lost a bit of ground to these leading two. Well, just wondering if maybe he's going to have a chance of potentially getting back into this and trying to get his first win on the season.
I've seen a couple times further back in the frame, the 43 get a little loose coming out of turns 2 and 4. Just that trend that we've seen all night. Cars just getting loose later on in the runs. Kept Cone
And that
near him.
77 just hit the wall. So on the topic of drivers that getting loose, a little bit of damage potentially to that right side of the 77.
See the gap grow a little bit between the leaders.
Notice as well as the run goes on with the cars getting loose, drivers are trying to overcompensate the car and trying to maybe widen their exits, which is also increasing the risk of them hitting that outside wall while they're trying to catch it. Rather than the alternative being they go lower and running the risk of spinning out more because of more steering input and just being on the throttle more. That was me attempting to be smart.
We need to figure out a way to get you one of those hologram cars that you can pick apart and decipher all the pieces. Give everybody at home a great explanation.
Yeah, Dave, let's look at the Anarchy analysis car here. Now, you're going to want to notice here as they exit off of turn number 4, the car is going to break traction here right about here at the third crack here next to the hot dog stand. Now, when these drivers hit that crack, their cars are going to want to either spin the hell out or they're going to want to plow like shit into the outside wall. Now, it's the driver's job to try and find the medium balance between hitting that wall or spinning the hell out. And right now, I'd say that 4 car is doing a great job of doing it. As Larry McReynolds impersonation at its finest.
I'd say that was pretty good. I think that was phenomenal.
I'd say I need to land a deep fake role as Larry McReynolds one day. Maybe not. I don't know. I like Larry McReynolds too much to do that.
I'm going to step away for 2 seconds. I'm going to hand this over to you as we are going to keep an eye on these leaders and hopefully, as more lap traffic ahead of them, we could get some interesting racing here between the 4 and the 77 for this lead late in this race.
This is the cars up ahead of the leading 4, that being the 12, the 55, and the 31 respectively. Drake gonna be getting out of the way, giving the lane to the 4, and will probably coincidingly give up the lane to the 77. But up ahead, the 55 of Trash Can, who I believe is running in the 5th place position right now. Oh, Drake caught Lucas at a really awkward spot right off of the corner. Kind of compromised his exit, but nonetheless, they stay fine. But just up ahead, these 55 and the 31 being a lap down. But Trash Can, this is to try and stay on the lead lap. Now, not sure if Trash Can is going to willingly give up this spot, but he's seeming to have a lot of struggles with that car, and I think he's just ultimately going to pull that thing down to the inside and make his first green flag pit stop here of the stage. The 31 of Ovo is starting to pull back away on those fresher tires that he does lay claim to. LRS has broken away from the 18, finally gotten himself some space, but has not been able to get himself some time to the leading 2. And is still in no man's land. He's going to be approaching Drake in a couple of laps time to get around him, as the 5 of Super Shifters coming off the pit road as well. He is also in for a green flag pit stop. That should put him about 3 laps down now, maybe potentially 4, which not a good day at the office for the 5. So you got to wonder at sometime soon, what are these leading pair gonna do hit strategy wise? Can the 77 make up any time doing such? I think the undercut's probably going to be the preferred strategy. Just need a lot more tires, tire wear, tire whatever, to gain time on him. And then ultimately, if it's a battle for track position, he's going to be out in front, and then he's just going to be able to impose his defensive driving, keep it pinned onto that bottom, don't surrender it, and if he has to, get the elbows out, just in case he needs to. Oh. Guess spoilers for the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes and Bayley were able to win their respective Rumbles, to the -2 people that care. What else is going on? Trying to find other things to talk about. For the first time in the Lakers-Warriors series, they have gone into a double overtime. This is the first double overtime between the two franchises since 1969. I almost said 16-19, and that would have been really confusing, because I don't think that was a possibility. Gap between the two leaders has started to increase again. The 4 came back into his rhythm, and he is now closing in on the next car to go a lap down, that being the 15 of Meso. And that is the 4th place running car right now. Or actually, no. Is that? No, he's closing in on Ovo, and then he's closing in on Mason. Pardon me. That 77 is really starting to struggle here. He's starting to hit the apron more. He's losing a lot of time to the leader. And actually, so much so that the 55, he's going to let him go. He's going to go all the way out of the way of Trash Can so he can let him go. Obviously, Trash Can being on fresher tires. Probably the smarter call.
Apologies for that. We're back now.
Welcome back.
Is that Trash Can a second now?
Want me to... Or what?
Oh, Maluka's
I
calling
think
out to
I think he made a green
pit. Oh, we're going through green flag pit stops. That's always wonderful when you don't have anybody with a lap counter, or you don't know who's taking over the lead or what.
Yeah. Yeah, well, okay. So I know the 55 has made a pit stop.
Okay.
The 4 and the 77 have not made pit stops, and the 15 has not made a pit stop.
Okay, well...
77's already come in to make his stop. 55 has already pit. The 5 made a pit stop while you were gone. And the 43 of LRS is now making his pit stop as well. So second and third on track are coming in. And this should promote Meso currently on track as the second place car. And he is about to, well, in the near future, go a lap down to the 4 car.
Harvick
But
still our race leader
Harvick got
right
some
now.
front end damage because of that. He gave the bumper to the 31, and he got some front end damage because of it.
I didn't even think there was much into it, but I guess there was a little bit more than I thought.
And you're going to be saying the same thing for the 77 because he comes out behind the 43 of LRS, potentially, and yes, repairing that right side damage. But LRS, as it cycles out, should take second place. That 31 is holding up the 4, and Harvick now going to come in. Oh, and he hits the inside wall. Oh, and he hits the inside wall again.
That's going to cost him a little bit. That's really going to bring up some cause for concern. Does he fix the damage now? Is the big question.
Oh, you absolutely have to. I mean, you're going to be plowing too much with that front end damage. I mean, and he hit the wall twice. He hit the as it was peeking out just before, and then he hit it coming in again as they were crossing the line. So LRS could potentially steal the lead here. Oh, and LRS is going to let the 77 go back ahead, and that's probably just because faster car. He doesn't want to try and hold him up. Meso's coming out of pit road. And now it's going to be a matter of where that 4 comes out in comparison to the others. And yeah, he had so much heavy damage that 77 is going to take the lead. New leader.
77 of Malukas has taken the lead.
And Harvick's going to be kicking himself for that. He made such a careless mistake there. And, you know, it's just really unfortunate. And, oh, actually, okay, the 15 has made a pit stop. I am a little concerned, not concerned, but like interested in where that 15 might end up being. Because for all intents and purposes, he was never lapped by the 4. No, okay, no, he would be a lap down because... Yeah, so he's probably like 5th, 4th.
He pitted with the 4.
But he was almost lapped down. So he's not going to be the leader. I was going to say, like, maybe he's the leader. But I'm like, yeah, no. I'm going to disconnect from this. And then I'm going to go see the lap count in the game. So I can just tell you right now. It's like, this ingenious idea. Go find the lap count. I leave, and then I join back, and then look at the lap count in the game. Because we are such intellectuals.
Oh.
Okay, this lap 237 of 250, so 14 laps to go.
Malukas battling with Ovo and Trash Can right now, trying to get position. They were 3 wide across the line. Malukas is able to get underneath the 31.
13. Great. I'm going to have to, like, try and keep count here.
Malukas
We try and
now
get
on
like
the
a
inside of the 55. As Ovo and Trash Can battling for position and some valuable points for the two of them.
whoa.
As Ovo sits 5th in the standings and Trash Can 6th. Trash Can only 9 points back of Ovo.
So I'm assuming they're at 11 now. Trying to keep count. I think they're on 10 to go.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I went to ask for a lap count. Because I am in the Discord call.
They not get a response back.
Oh, I believe there's an incident on track. Oh, between the 43 and the 4!
The caution's out! Oh my goodness, the caution has come out! And that just potentially derailed Malukas of a much needed victory to try and get him into the next round. That might put it down to like 5 or maybe 6 laps
I
to
think
go.
they're going to come out with either 5 or 6 to go.
All right, I'm gonna keep count, or I'm gonna keep track like through this, or I'll just count down. Which I'll just count down, whatever. Oh, the strategy call. Mesa's gonna go up into second because of it.
Huge. He's the one who sits on the cut line. Malukas sits on the bottom of the playoff standings. Huge restart for Mesa on the outside. Lucas is going to battle back on the inside with Harvick on his bumper. Can he get clear of Mesa? He can't going into turn number 3. Harvick, a big
push!
push!
Oh, the 4 lays the bumper to the 77!
But the 15 being on the outside.
Look at the
wow.
shifter! He punted the 43 out of the way, and he punts the 4, and the 31 punts the 5! Oh my god!
Very ugly racing going on here in the back. Let's be honest though, this is exactly what Malukas would have wanted. Everybody's shoving each other out of the way. Oh, and the 18's around again.
Oh, and the 5's in the outside wall too. He's wrecking.
No manual cautions right now, and the caution is out though in game.
And considering what we had happen last week, not stating, be a little more than interested in hearing from the 5 how exactly he ended up involved in that, because he was a little bit more ahead and uninvolved in what was transpiring with the 18. But this, I know there are going to be some hurt feelings afterwards.
Yeah, the drivers meeting,
There should be like 2 laps to go.
Driver's call right now is not a very happy situation. The radios are, they're blaring right now. As Malukas is going to take us to its last restart. Harvick on the outside is going to drive it deep, and he's going to drive it hard. Can't get the best run out of turn 2. Malukas is going to get a good run down the back straightaway. Dives down into turn 3 and clips the grass, and he's around. The 77's around and collects the 18. The 5's around. Oh my goodness.
The caution's out again. Does that end the race?
I believe we're going to go to overtime.
Oh my goodness. And that happened because the 55 gave the 15 a shot going into the corner. And while Malukas was riding that curb, the 15 just tapped him and sent him around because of that. Well, this is going to set up for 55 and the 15
The 4 inherits
on
the
this restart.
lead again. Meso
Wow.
second, LRS third, Trash Can fourth.
Or is that it?
Was that it? It was.
I thought that might have been it. Oh, that's
It
it.
was. Oh,
4-1.
Harvick's the
Harvick
winner.
wins.
I thought we were going to
I
overtime.
was like, this has to be like the end of the race. So I'm like, because I'm pretty sure they were like restarting with like either 2 or 3 to go.
Well, ladies and
4 is your
gentlemen,
winner.
the 4 is your winner. Harvick has clinched
Boom!
his spot into the round of 8. In what was a wreck-filled night at Martinsville has ended with the 4 coming out on top with a huge win. And that's really going to close the gap on points leader Cone. Cone finishing, I believe it was around 5th or 6th for the 18. So it's really going to hurt him. Arguably the hottest driver in the league right now. A rough night for the 18. Shifter bounces back, though. I believe when the caution waved, he was able to get a good finish.
This win marks Harvick's 3rd victory on the season. His first since New Hampshire all the way back in October of 2023. So it has been a fat minute, to say the least, since that 4 car has seen victory lane. And it comes at a very more important time than this, punching his ticket into the round of 10, or no, round of 8.
Let's see if I can get some of these, get these boys in here for a quick question or two about their race. Alright, we got Harvick and Meso in here to start. Harvick, I mean, incredible job. I mean, honestly, we didn't even know the race was over. We thought we were getting ready for an overtime restart for you. But the winner, number 4, I mean, how great does this win feel for you in the playoffs?
I mean, obviously, got to put in that hustle each week. This is really the end goal, just to kind of takes away the stress for next week. That's the good thing about this, really, is and now we don't have to worry about points and all that going into next week. And it gives us more playoff points down the road. That's another good thing as well. Just, I mean, if we're gonna go chase that championship, you gotta get wins. That's really what it comes down to. You gotta be really consistent or win. And we really checked both boxes so far, and pretty excited to keep it going. Try to make this final 4.
I know if you have anything for our winner tonight.
Harvick, you had to endure a lot of pressure there at the end of the race, having to deal with the damage you got coming to your pit stall, and then ultimately those restarts at the end of the race. How were you able to keep a calm and level head and manage the storm and get back into victory lane through it all?
I'm, I'm gonna be honest. I probably sold it away when I spent on the pit road, but we just just gotta wait for your opportunity and just take one lap at a time. That's really all it comes down to. It's never the last lap until it is. So always gotta just go one lap at a time and just eventually. And sometimes it just works out like it did there. And just pretty happy about where we ended up at the end there with that win. Kind of sucks for Nixium that he spun there. Obviously had a good race going, but pretty proud of our team, and we're good to move on to the next round.
Well, Harvick, a stage win and a race win for you this week. Congratulations, and can't wait to see what you do next week at Kansas and further on into these playoffs.
Thank you, good sir.
Meso, our second place finisher tonight. My guy, is this what you expected tonight? I mean, you qualified towards further back in the field. I mean, were you expecting to be up here for a win tonight?
Yeah, I'm misqualifying because I didn't pay attention to the time. But car sucked. Stage. I mean, it didn't suck, but it was pretty terrible. Worked on the car all night. Got it up to P5 after some incidents towards the end, and that second to last caution when everyone got bunched back up again was pretty interesting. I did not need Nixium winning that race because that would knock me out of the playoffs and virtually put me in a must-win next week. And some unfortunate things happened, and I got second somehow. I don't know, really. Still a little shocked at what happened, but
Hey, a nice,
second's a win for
a
me.
nice podium for you here at Martinsville. I mean, you can't really complain about that walking away from this track.
No, definitely not. I expected a top five, but not this. Not this.
If you got anything for him?
Well, Mr. Meso, well, let's see here. Pull off a very clutch second place here. Obviously, you were eighth in the seedings, and considering everything around you, going to be moving up and going into Kansas next week. It's a cutoff race. Obviously, you got a little bit of a cushion over your competition. What are the confidence levels looking like heading into an elimination race?
Honestly, I just need to go into Kansas, get some very solid stage points, and pray and hope that Nixium or Heathen do not win that race. And if they do win that race, I'm gonna have to get enough points to just beat out LRS, who got third here today. Um, to get ahead of them.
Well, I'll tell you this: the trend so far in round number 2 is the 16 has yet to finish a race. So, with that being said, if the trend continues, you may be looking
Nixium.
at a very decent situation to go into the round of 8. But anyway, congratulations on a second place finish and can't wait to see what you do at Kansas.
Thank you.
Then comes to our third place finisher, LRS. I mean, you were up in the front, you were down in the back, you had battles with a lot of drivers. I mean, we saw you battling door to door early with Ova, we saw you battling late with Nixium. I mean, were you could you find any friends out there tonight, or was this just aggressive racing all the way around?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, it's the same old over here. A lot of people race with no respect, um, and everyone knows who those people are, and it's kind of weird because everybody shits on Harvick, but he's the cleanest one here in my opinion. He's never once gotten into me, and he'll always apologize for it. So it's kind of weird, targeting a little kid, but um, and then he gets shit on too for finishing in for winning the race, and then everyone's like, "Oh, he wrecked Malukas. He was nowhere near him. Malukas wrecked himself." But it's the same people who keep racing ridiculous every single week. Last week it was Cone, and then he wanted to blame me for it, and it wasn't my fault. So I held him up, and that's why he finished in the back tonight. Um, Shifter couldn't do anything to him. And then Ovo, I don't know what has gotten up his ass with me. He apologizes every single time he gets into me, but I feel like I'm the only one that he gets into. So, um, same old with same old shit with these people. Um, it's hard to get me mad. I'm never mad. If you race with me in other places, I'm never mad. But these people have gotten on my last nerve. There's no reason or no wonder why SP got out of here. These people are going to wake up a bad side of me that I don't want to show, but you'll see it next week, I promise. I hope you're up here in the booth, and I hope, you get a good shot because some of these people need a rude awakening.
All right. Well, how speaking of next week, how confident are you feeling with this third place finish now? Are you gonna be? I mean, obviously, it sounds like you're gonna be very aggressive going to Kansas with it being a cutoff race anyway. But were you expecting to go into that race aggressive, or are you more comfortable with these points gained tonight?
I'm going into that race comfortable because I know I'm one of the faster people here, and I know that I could easily finish top three, top four, even top five, and I know I can win at Kansas. Um, even if Some other people have different ideas. Some people are still here because of people they know. Some people are here because of their friends. I'm about to hightail it up out of here too, but I want to get this done. I think that I have the pace, even though some people are going to have it out for me, and I have it out for some people. I'm going in there with a level head, but you're going to see a different side of me that you have not seen ever. None of you have ever seen it.
Hey, INF, anything for LRS here tonight?
Is there beef? Is there beef?
Yeah, there's beef.
Hello, welcome to the
I
Arby's.
called all
Beef?
three of them out by name.
I mean, if I can just interject, I'd like to thank LRS there for that. I know he spoke his mind there. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and before I get out of here, just congratulations to Meso and Harvick. I feel like they were the two cleanest tonight besides Drake. Drake wasn't fast, but he got out of the way. He did his part as a lap car. Cone didn't get the memo on that when he was racing Harvick in the lead. Don't be an asshole, just get out of the way. But simple, people don't have any race etiquette. But I'm going to sit up here, be grateful I got on the podium. I think the three people that deserve to be on the podium at the end of this race are up here. Maluka should have been up here too. He ran second the majority of that last run. But yeah, congratulations, Meso, you too, Harvick. And thank you, INF and Days, for being up here. You guys probably did a great job, as usual. And I'll see you next week at Kansas.
All right, and with that, we wish everybody a great and safe night, and we will catch you all next week for the conclusion of round number 2 at Kansas Motor Speedway. Signing off for tonight, I am CCDN Days, joined in the booth this week by CCDN INF, and I will catch you all later.